What is up, guys? It's your boy. You can only equip one exotic armor piece at a time, Cacus, and today we are going to be discussing the exotic armor that could become meta next season within Season 22. Now, this is due to a recent article that Bungie wrote talking about the upcoming buffs to exotic armor as well as buffs and nerfs to abilities arriving next season. So if you want to know all of those different changes, please check out my video I made breaking everything down. But in this video, we're going to be spending some more time on the specific exotic armor pieces that seem to be getting the most love. The ones where the announced changes seem pretty substantial and again are likely to really take off starting next season. So let's begin here with hunters. The two I want to highlight are, first of all, the Lucky Raspberry. Now, this exotic chest piece right now will improve the chaining capabilities of arc bolt grenades and has a chance to recharge it each time it deals damage, with a full chain always recharging your grenade. Now, next season, you won't have to rely on that random chance for a recharge. Bungie says every time you damage an enemy with the lightning strikes from the jolted condition, you will gain additional grenade energy. So it takes the randomness out and makes it way more consistent and means you're gonna more likely get way more grenades, especially because also every time you pick up an ionic trace, you gain additional grenade energy. This right there is also massive because you can really easily spec into generating a ton of ionic traces. You can use weapons such as the Cold Heart exotic trace rifle that produce ionic traces and really gain a ton of grenade energy. Heck, the Fallen SUNSTAR, which is an exotic helmet for the Warlock, that improves ability regen from collecting ionic traces, and that's like a very well liked and commonly used exotic for Arc Warlocks. So again, improving the effects of ionic traces, we know for a fact that's a powerful thing in game. So again, the Lucky Raspberry looking really good, but on top of that, it's also going to intrinsically stun overload champions. You won't have to specifically jolt them now. So this is now going to have potential to be used in stuff like solo lost sectors for that anti-champion capability. So overall, guys, like some pretty big buffs for the Lucky Raspberry. Now, moving on from there, the next hunter exotic I want to talk about is one with a very small change, and that is the Renewal Grasps exotic gauntlets. So right now, it makes your Dustfield grenades have a much larger effect radius, and allies inside the Dustfield take reduced damage, and targets inside the area deal reduced damage. These, when they first came out, were actually meta, both in PvP and PvE. However, as a result of that, Bungie actually nerfed them and made it so that when you were using these, your Dustfield grenades recharged a lot longer. Well, the change is simply that they undid that nerf. Now you will have the normal recharging Dustfield grenades, and so that means, guys, if you spec into grenade regen, you can really throw a ton of Dustfield grenades. And if you want to see how big of a radius you actually can get, you can use, remember, Touch of Winter combined with the Renewal Grasps, which make your Dustfield grenades go from what they normally are right here all the way to absolute moon-sized Dustfield grenades. And remember, in that massive area, anything inside is going to deal reduced damage, and you're going to take reduced damage as well. And also, guys, remember that because we haven't had stasis as a featured element so far this year, next season, it's likely that stasis will be a featured element. So expect stasis surge on a ton of different activities, as well as seasonal artifact perks that improve stasis, which again will really up the potential of the Renewal Grasps. Now, moving on from there, guys, let's get on to the Titans. First of all, these patch notes are looking a bit different. This is what they originally looked like, and this is what they look like now. Bungie actually had to go in and expand what the heck they were talking about because they were so vague the first time. But it does give some additional insight into which exotic armor pieces are getting some love, and the one I absolutely want to call out first is the Doom Fang Pauldrons. So right now, they make your Void melee kills give super energy, a pretty good amount too, and while Sentinel Shield is active, melee kills recharge your shield throw, which extends your super on hits, and you can have a ridiculously long-lasting super because of these. Now, what they're adding is that the Doomfangs will grant an escalating bonus to Void weapon damage when getting rapid Void kills. When you get a Void melee kill, you immediately gain the highest tier bonus. And so that means you don't have to put on any Void Weapon Surge mods, and these exotics will still give you bonus damage with your Void weapons. In fact, it works very well with the melee component of these exotics, because now you can put on one or heck even more melee kickstart mods, so you're getting your melee regenning a ton, and hence getting a ton of super energy, because now you don't care if you have constant armor charge to keep up your Surge mods. The Doomfang is just doing it all, which is very cool. Now, the next exotic I really want to call out here is in that same group, and it's going to be the ICEFALL Mantle. So this right now is going to replace your Barricade ability with a personal overshield. When you activate your Barricade, you create a burst around yourself that slows combatants, and when you have the overshield, you are slowed and Barricade does not recharge. So now what they're doing is that they will grant you an escalating bonus to stasis weapon damage when getting rapid stasis kills. When you activate your class ability, you immediately gain the highest tier bonus. So that is actually crazy, because what do the ICEFALL Mantle want you to do? Well, activate your class ability, which is just activating your overshield. Every time you do that, you're going to get a full overshield and instantly get the highest damage tier possible for your stasis weapons. Imagine that in PvP. They're charging you, you activate your overshield, step around the corner, and now you automatically have a ton of extra weapon damage. That seems pretty darn good, especially because, like I said earlier with the renewal grasps, it's very likely that stasis will be a featured element next season, so the ICEFALL Mantles will get a boost from that. But additionally, Bungie is actually massively nerfing the Towering Barricade for Titans by significantly increasing its cooldown, and they're also making all barricades have less health for PvP. Now, I do believe that the ICEFALL Mantle, since it has a unique ability that replaces your class ability, its cooldown will be unaffected by this nerf. So if you don't want to use your Towering Barricade anymore, you could potentially put on the ICEFALL Mantles, get a faster regenning overshield. Like, maybe it's not super competitive right now, but if you're getting it 20 seconds sooner than the Towering Barricade, hey, it might actually be pretty darn good next season. We'll have to wait for sure until the new season to confirm all this, but again, it could be a way to circumvent the Barricade nerf. But guys, moving on from there to the Warlocks, the first exotic I want to shout out is the GEOMAG Stabilizers. So right now they make dealing damage with Chaos Reach extend its duration, and then next season they'll make it so that picking up an Ionic Trace while wearing this exotic will grant additional super energy. So just like how we talked about with the Lucky Raspberry, you can really dedicate your build to making a ton of Ionic Traces, using weapons like the Cold Heart or the Delicate Tomb to make even more Ionic Traces. So all of those giving you more super energy, and remember, the Chaos Reach was pretty recently buffed, doing 20% more damage and causing jolts. So this could really combine to make a powerful exotic. And then moving on from there, guys, the last exotic we're shouting out here is the Wings of Sacred Dawn. So now this exotic makes it so that when Dawnblade is equipped, aiming weapons while you're midair suspends you there for a short time, improving airborne accuracy, reducing incoming flinch, and granting damage resistance. Weapon hits extend this effect's duration, and it provides a large benefit to the airborne effectiveness stat of all weapons. But next season, it's going to make it so that this exotic will automatically reload solar weapons, including the weapon you're holding, from reserves each time you get a kill while aiming down sights. And they say try this specifically with the Xenophage. Guys, This could be really, really powerful. I mean, there's a ton of amazing solar weapons out there, and the fact that now you're getting kills and it's instantly reloading your weapon, so you're just hanging in the air, potentially never needing to reload. Heck, even in PvE, that could be pretty useful just for the infinite ammo capabilities. And so that could be very, very cool and definitely an exotic to keep your eye on. And so guys, that's it for the kind of 6 exotics I think are really going to increase in power significantly next season. Definitely these 6 I'm going to be trying out in builds and so on when season 22 arrives. So I hope you enjoyed this video, found it informative, and if you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickCacus. That is linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.